She wants to have a family. She's the last one of a family of daughters of 3. So you can imagine the pressure from her parents at this point.
And this is a South Asian family, we might.
This is a South Asian family,
Okay.
and so she's turning 35, and both her sisters are married. Older sister already's got kids, so she's got the pressure from her parents that it's time now, to get married. So she goes on I guess you could call it a dating spree, so to speak, and we meet about 30 dates of hers.
30 dates, wow,
Yeah.
okay. And whose idea was this to come up with this story?
Okay, so what happened was one day I was sitting there with my pen and paper and just outside, and I was like, just in that mode of creative writing, so to speak, and all of a sudden 30 dates just popped in my head, and I started to think about all my friends that are still looking for people and finding true love and the whole idea of love. And I did a lot of research around it and decided that 30 Dates would be my next production. At the same time, I'm sure you've seen a lot of it happening. There's so much talk about online dating, people going on double dates, and matchmaking happening, speed dating. There's so many forms of people trying to find that true love. But at the same time, it has become very challenging.
And why do you think that is?
I mean, there's that, either it's that notion of, am I being too picky? Because the older you get, you develop your own personalities, the things that you look for in a partner. There's that. There's also the fact that maybe there's not as much choice out there. At the same time, people may not be going to the right places to find that person and really going out there. Because you can't just sit around and wait. No. Waiting around may not just happen. But I think at the same time, having an open mind and an open perspective to people that you do meet. And a lot of times people are a little bit closed off from that. Either they find, especially women, they can find it kind of intimidating or a little bit scary to really go out there and start meeting guys, because it's not the easiest thing to do, right? You have to come out of your shell. You got to let people come into your life to get to know them a bit more. So it's a process, right? And I know a lot of people who have said, I have a friend who's single, and kind of get them together. I've done that twice, and I've got 2 people married now.
Really?
Yeah. I love it. I think it's so great when people...
matchmaker here.
I think it's amazing for me, when I see 2 people in love. I think it's great. I think it's nice that 2 people can find each other somehow in this world that, although being so small, at the same time so large, and and both of them have kids and a family.
Now, it's interesting because in our South Asian community, there's still a lot of pressure from the parents, like you said, to find a mate, and they prefer that you find a mate through them or through other family members. So it's interesting that you've taken on this new idea and exposing it, where a lot of people are now turning to the speed dating and these wedding websites to find a potential mate. So do you think there's more acceptance surrounding that?
I think there is. I think if we really look at historically, right, there was a time where only the parents would set up their daughter to another son, to a family. Like we've seen it in movies. It's not even an Indian perspective. We're talking about across the board. Traditionally, it was done that. And then around mid-19th century, that's when it started to change. That people started to choose who their partners were going to be. It became more about the dream of finding that love and marriage, where before it was, okay, this is a good match. Let's do it together. The families get along. So now we also have, which is very different from what it was back then too, is that women are now are working. They're in the actual workforce, where before it was a little bit different. So they could get married. The man would be the breadwinner. The woman would then start the family right away. And it's not the case anymore. So women start getting into their careers. That's the other problem, is that they don't have that much time. So Priti is a perfect example of that woman, modern day woman here in North American society, who focused on her career and then realized, while everyone around her is getting married, that, I better get on this, because if I don't get on this, I'm not going to have somebody.
Right.
And there's that fear of being alone, right? Spending the rest of your life alone and not having a family or nevertheless a partner to share your life with. So, I think that it has become more accepted because of that, the way that women's lives are now today. and there has to be that opportunity for people to meet because everyone is so busy. So how do you possibly meet, right? So there's it becomes very difficult working. Like, you know, I spoke to you early and you said you work a lot. So do you know what I mean? Although I know you're getting married, but I'm just saying, like, people are just so busy. So how do they possibly find somebody? Online dating's very easy and fast now.
So the changing times, you're sitting at work, want to take a little 5 minutes, let me go on one of these websites and see if I can find a husband.
Yeah, you could do that. You know, and it's great that actually friends are encouraging, like, you know, double dating is fun. Like I said, one of the marriages I got set up, it was first a double date and then hit off, done. So they did the rest, you know. And it's not always the case. Okay, of course, it is a kind of a rosy picture, but you will see in 30 dates that it's not that easy, and we see Priti go through it. It's not an easy journey.
Well, I hear my friends saying it all the time that, you know, how am I going to find somebody, and do you know anyone? And I always sat and wondered that what is, because they're beautiful girls and, you know, very talented, very smart, and the guys out there are, you know, the same for them, and you wonder what is it that's stopping them from getting together. And I guess, like you said, that we live such busy lives. So that's why I want to bring it back to you now for a minute. Any personal experiences with this own story, or did you meet your husband through the websites?
No, actually, well, my husband and I met 14 years ago, and we met actually at a leadership camp. So it was, I guess, the perfect place for, you know, young professionals to meet. That's what it really was. It was a young professionals camp, and we met there, and we've been together for 14 years. So I mean, that inspiration didn't come from there, but the characters in the story are inspired from actual guys.
Okay, so from what you've seen in real life.
Yeah, what I've seen from friends, from family, or from stories that I've heard, the research that I've done, and, you know, reading through books and getting certain kind of traits and qualities. And to be honest with you, it was the most easiest thing that came. Like each character just came out pouring right out. So it was almost like, okay, this needed to be in it. This character had to be in this play, you know? And each one of them is very unique and different because we have to see all the type of guys that can be out there, right?
Yep, there's the good and the bad.
Yes, there is. Yep, the good and the bad. And, you know, there's sometimes too that sometimes someone will be so good and you'll think it's just perfect. And then something just happens.
Yeah.
So it's not the one, right?
No.
You can come really close, but it may not be the one.
Now the way that you're talking about this, there is obviously the South Asian context. However, I feel like this is the kind of story that would appeal to many different cultures.
Oh, yes. I mean, it is told from a South Asian woman's perspective. But at the same time, you will see, as long as with, you know, everyone out there, all the audience will see that it could be really anybody, anyone who is out there, you know, searching for the one. Or it could be a perfect place for couples to even come, to even watch the whole process of, like, the initial dating process. It's a very unique, you know, way of you know, when you meet somebody, those pauses, the silences, the moments like, oh, what do I say? Okay, you know, learning about somebody completely new and seeing them for the first time. Could this be the one? Yes. Okay. How do we, you know, attract with each other? What's, you know, what it is that I like? And so there's so many, you know, ways that people are trying to learn and figure out, you know, one another. So it's all in there. It's, you know, we try to do as much as we can in a 2-hour, well, a little under 2-hour play. So
now, are you in it as well?
I am.
Okay,
I am.
So what's your role?
I'm playing Priti.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's one woman in this play. So I know the character so well, and I'm a professional actor, as I had mentioned to you earlier. So, yeah, I get the wonderful opportunity to play the woman who's on her search for true love.
Now, is that difficult because you didn't actually go through the process of finding your mate online?
No, because as an actor, you know, there's moments of that we have to find of discoveries, and also, you know, acting is the art of self-revelation. So although I may not have, you know, found my husband in that way, there's still a lot that I can draw from personal experiences. And since I wrote the story too, I know the characters really, really well. So I have that, you know, as an advantage as well. So it becomes quite a personal thing, because each of these characters mean so much to me as I've written them and when I play with them. And the actors are phenomenal. They're so wonderful. And we've had a rehearsal process. And our director, just a truly incredible woman who's directed for 20 years now. And so she helped us through that process as well, trying to find the chemistry, the moment to moment within the scenes. So it's quite a beautiful story that way. Yeah.
Now I want to talk more about the actors, how people can participate and come watch this. It sounds really funny and cute.
Yeah.
But we're just going to take a quick break here on Asian Digest. So stay with us if you want to know more about finding a mate online and how this new play 30 Dates is going to be showing you that. We'll see you soon.